Good evening and thanks for joining us. Salty snacks appear to have been the common factor between two separate arrests that happened Saturday evening. At around 1:40 a.m., City Police found a 55-year-old Thunder Bay man passed out in his vehicle in the middle of a local fast food drive-thru on the south side. It was later determined that his sleep was alcohol-induced and that he had been responsible for an earlier hit and run on the 1000 block of Gore Street West. Then at around 3:30 a.m., police responded to a burglary at a Northside Recreation Center. On arrival, police found a 26-year-old man from Sachio Lake munching on stolen frozen onion rings. Both men have been reprimanded and will appear in court Monday morning. Expect a lot of debate at City Hall tomorrow night over a proposed ballot box question on the event center. Calls for a plebiscite have been getting louder from a group called the Concerned Taxpayers of Thunder Bay. But another group, the Citizens for a Waterfront Event Center, will also be on hand at Monday's meeting. The Concerned Taxpayers have held two meetings calling for a plebiscite during this October's municipal election. They will be holding a rally outside of the City Hall before Monday's meeting. Councillor Linda Ridholm has provided the group with a small victory. She's bringing forward a ballot box question for council to debate. The question will ask voters if they are in favor of the city continuing with the process to build the proposed event center, but some on council have already said they won't support the motion.
A number of councillors who've already said that they know what the people want, and so they don't think they need to have a vote. Well, my answer to that is, then there should be no harm in getting a vote. If they're so certain that everyone in town pretty well is in favor, then I think that that would be favorable for us to get that positive vote.
So far, the majority of those making a deputation are not in favor of having a plebiscite. Educators from this region got the opportunity to learn about religious accommodation and cyberbullying this week from an expert in quality and inclusive education. Guest speaker Eric Rower is the national leader of the education focus group with Borden Ladner Jarvis law firm. He says his goal is to create a global citizen, students that are comfortable with a world community with different faiths, viewpoints, and perspectives. He says this will allow students to feel accepted, included, and comfortable in their school community, and then they will be more successful.
Dietary needs, in terms of religious holy days, in terms of what they wear, attire, and hear their concerns about religious needs. And it may be that we have to make small adjustments to our timetable, small adjustments to perhaps what's offered in the cafeteria, small adjustments to school trips or the examination schedule, but we do our best to accommodate.
It's pretty consistent across all grades. Certainly the needs are different for students who are in primary grades than would be in middle grades or even in high school, but it's absolutely something that affects kids in all different grades and ages.
Rower advises school boards, independent schools, community colleges, and universities on a range of education law issues, including student discipline, human rights, freedom of information, and special education. After a 3-year trial, the town of Marathon has renewed its health worker recruitment and retention fund. The fund has brought the town's physician complement back to full strength, and the scope is now expanding. John Thompson reports.
An average doctor spends 3 years in small communities, but since the turn of the millennium, 84 physicians had worked in Marathon. In 2010, 4 physicians left the Wilson Memorial General Hospital at once, leaving behind only 1 doctor for every 1,000 citizens.
There is clearly a tipping point in small communities that can be reached rather quickly. When numbers shrink of the physician workforce, the amount of work that's left for the others can be overwhelming. And if you hit that tipping point, you can end up with a community that has no physicians.
The municipality, the hospital, Pic-Mobert First Nation, and Barrick Gold assembled an annual budget of $58,000 and hired local golf pro Brett Redden to drive recruitment and retention. Taking the easy come, easy go philosophy is a given of small town medicine. Attraction had to be based on the local medical culture and selling the Northwestern Ontario lifestyle with a promise of life-work balance.
What we've managed to do, I think, is sell that idea that that's important and it's sustainable in a small community. And as such, we've attracted other physicians with similar kind of interests and philosophies, and that's really worked for us.
The marathon team's unique philosophy is its consensus model, meaning physicians make all decisions unanimously.
Having people that join have an equal voice with the rest of the team is really important, to recognize their contribution and again, to make sure that their voice is heard in what happens in healthcare here is another important part of it, I believe.
Zellick says the collective environment includes teaching where experienced doctors now mentor new recruits on site, but has bred a culture in the family health team that they're all in this together.
I think that we trust one another. We're accountable to each other. We do have, I think, high standards of one another, and we support each other. So I know that if I'm in a pinch and in a bind and I need help, and it's the middle of the night, I know everyone's sleeping with their cell phone next to their bed just in case that were to happen. So I know I can call my colleagues, and I know who's in town and who's away, and we check in with each other.
The pitch filled the physician component within 3 years, and when a physician assistant and 2 registered nurses joined, the funding partners saw an opportunity to expand the recruiting plan across the health sector. With a $50,000 budget ready for 2014, Marathon will begin the hunt for a physiotherapist and a nurse practitioner, while another new nurse will begin work this week. John Thompson, TBT News.
Consumers in Fort Frances are spending $1 out of every $5 more in their local economy than they did last year. Organizers of the town's Go Local loyalty program are finding the reward plan has its own rewards. Fort Frances Go Local celebrates its first anniversary this month. Over the past year, it has not only attracted 40 local businesses, but the $500,000 Go Local points have handed out $23,000 in vouchers for local businesses, from real estate to groceries. According to a consultant's report, Fort Frances residents have responded by keeping 20% more spending in the community. Tanis Drysdale is the coordinator of Go Local. She says Fort Frances has been strengthened by keeping the dollar circulating in the local economy.
Every dollar out that you can get, and we know that we got 20% more this year. The retailers like it because they know that when they give you points, they're really reinvesting it back in their community. So if you go down to buy a house or buy a vehicle, you'll be rewarded with quite a large number of points, and then those points go back in the community, and maybe a local retailer can then also afford to buy a truck or a car or a new house.
In its second year, Drysdale foresees expanding to 50 businesses in Fort Frances and reaching across the district to Emu and Rainy River. A plan is also in works to bring the nonprofit sector on board so loyalty points can be redeemed and donated to local charities. She expects that to launch by the end of the summer. It's been a hot topic over the past year whether or not an event center should be built in Thunder Bay. For our TB News Watch question of the day, we wanted to know if you think the city should hold a plebiscite on the event center.
Yes, it sure should. Any reason? Well, what's it going down there for? Down on the waterfront. There's no place for it, and we can't afford it.
Because a lot of people aren't in favor of it, and it's a lot of money concerned, so I think the taxpayer should have a say in the matter.
I think so. Well, I think people should have a right to say yes or no, whether it's a good idea or not.
No, I think they should just go ahead with it and let it go. It'll be good for the city. It's beneficial to other cities across Canada, so why not?
No, get it over with, get it done. Go with the future. Time to move ahead.
I think so, yeah. Give everybody a chance to say something. That's what I think. Whether it'll work out or not, I don't know. But it should, yes.
Everyone needs to be recognized from time to time for their achievements and progress. The Chamber of Commerce held their 20th Annual Business Awards last night to recognize the hard work of local businesses. Over 60 businesses were nominated in 13 categories. The Small Business Excellence Award went to Primary Photo Source. The Medium Business Excellence Award went to the team at Fire Dog Communications. The Large Business Excellence Award went to Gilligan's Insurance. New Business Excellence Award went to Eat Local Pizza and Pastry. And last but not least, the Customer Service Award went to Sweet Escape Cake Cafe and Bakery. Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce President Charlotte Robertson, says the event is a great chance to appreciate the progress that local businesses are making.
And sometimes you forget to look up and think about how far we've come, and that's exactly what this night is about. It's an opportunity to really sit back and look at all the great things that are happening in our city, all the great businesses that are operating in our community and growing and providing employment and economic development for the community. It's just a wonderful night to really celebrate some of the great happenings in the community.
Confederation College also took home the Strategic Leadership in Diversity